Today has been a really busy day for me. I had a lot of work to do in the studio. I had a lot of mixes to get finished, some revisions. And I also, because I'm mixing, took some breaks to get my ears recalibrated, basically. So I also had some time to reflect on what I'm doing, rethinking my life choices, etc. And I came to the conclusion that I hate the music industry. And this is why. The ego. A wise man once said that if you have problems with your ego and your self-worth and you feel like you have to punish others for it, the perfect place to be is the music industry. There are so many people who make you feel like you're worth less, or actually who try to make you feel like you're less, and to try to downplay everything you do just because they need to feel better. Which has been an experience a lot of artists I work with have, and also I have. They make you feel like you have to prove yourself to them, which is like so weird of a dynamic to have. So what I do is basically not even talk to them. I feel like it's not as bad in Austria as it is in other countries, but for example, LA is really notorious for that kind of people in the industry. Lack of honesty. So I have been in this industry for about 10 years in September 2026, and I have to say that I feel like it got worse. I mean, I was always in my little bubble in Vorarlberg, and when I moved to Vienna I was kind of more exposed to the whole industry part. Also when we had some sessions in Berlin. I didn't have that problem at first because I was in my really small bubble, but since moving to Vienna in January of 2025, it's been very different. I feel like the music industry suffers from a real transparency problem, which is not just an Austria thing or Vienna thing, it's the whole industry, I feel like. It doesn't matter if I do meetups with managements or other industry professionals, like really business side, or also in ours and people who work with artists face to face, and also even the artists sometimes. It's really difficult to get some honest feedback or even just honest talks out of them. One example for this I have was at a networking event for music professionals, and I talked to a lot of producers, and I feel like everybody is telling me that everything is great and they are doing so well, and the artists they work with are amazing, and the other producers and the management and everything is always awesome. And then I come and I tell them that it's not been that great for me. For example, like I had one artist who was not great to work with. I had a management where it was really difficult to communicate with. In that moment, when they realize they can be themselves and just be honest and talk about it, then some of them actually start talking about it and how they are really feeling. And those are, of course, some really connecting moments. But if you don't set an example or just pour your heart out and wear it on your sleeve, basically, then everybody is going to tell you that everything is fine and nobody's gonna be honest with you, or at least that's my experience. And I really hate that. I want to talk to honest people. I want to have a connection when talking to you, not hear some made up everything is great thing. Everything feels fake. And I'm not talking about social media, because we all know that basically everything on there is fake. I'm talking again about in-person events. Sometimes it feels like it's a really big circle jerk. Everybody is trying to fakely compliment each other, and yeah, your new song is so great, and yeah, I love what you do, and you've never listened to anything they did. Yeah, I love the new metal project you did. There's a lot of fake friendships where they talk behind their backs, like the second these people are gone, which is also really frustrating to see. I hate that. It's something that's been bothering me a lot, because that happens a lot to me. I think some people don't realize that I also know the people they are talking about, and I don't like when people talk shit about other people. It's so frustrating. Why can we not just be nice to each other? It's not that difficult. And then also there are always some really pretentious people who love to support others. But the second they don't benefit from it, you're shit. Love that. I love that I don't even need segues because everything ties together with everything else so nicely. So the next thing, I have a list here, is be careful who you tell things to. So when I moved to Vienna, I had a really eye-opening meeting with another producer here from Vienna who is doing great work. I'm a really big fan of his. The first thing he told me basically was, Andrew, when you work with people and when you talk to people, don't tell them everything. Don't tell them what you think and don't tell them how you feel. And that made me kind of sad because I am someone who has his heart upon his sleeve a lot and I like to tell people honestly how I feel. Again, I feel like this is something that should be normal, but unfortunately, I guess it isn't. Basically, everything you say can be used against you and will be used against you by some people eventually. And that's really sad. I kind of ignored his advice at first and I also tried to help everyone I knew how to help. But then, as he said, it got used against me. So I basically stopped trusting everybody and tried to minimize the people I am honest with on a deeper level, and also who I help. Bloodsuckers are another group of people you might meet at networking events. I don't know if that's actually a term used in the English-speaking countries again. In German it's called Blutsauger and it's basically people who drain your energy or waste your time. Basically at every event you go to, there are some people who recognize you and who might come up to you and be like, hey Andrew, nice to see you. Yeah, I love the stuff you do. We definitely need to do a session. I need you to mix my song. You're so great at mixing songs. Please, 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 let's work and let's book a call where we can talk about the song and whatever. Yeah, at the first time I'm like, yeah, sounds great. I will listen to your stuff. Let's do it. Sounds good. And then you listen to their stuff the next day and you contact them about the call and then they'll say something like, yeah, definitely, let's do it. And then you go to the next event, which is like a few months later, and then you see them again and it's like, hey Andrew, nice to see you again. Yeah, let's work on that mix. Let's work on that song. I wanna do this with you and I have to do this with you because you're awesome and so on and so forth. They'll get in touch. And they, again, never do, and so on and so forth, and it's the same thing every time. And now when I see those kind of people, I just turn my back and go a different way. I don't have time for this and I don't want to waste my energy on this, and it's so frustrating again. This also goes hand in hand with like the endless meetings and bookings and calls you do about stuff which doesn't move along, and you are stuck at the same place with that project and it just doesn't happen. It never happens. Then also in the same category for me are people who ask you about contacts. Like you meet them for the first time, they ask you like 2 questions, and when you are in the middle of answering the second question, they ask you another one. And they just pile up questions over questions over questions. How did you do that? And how did you do that? And what plugins did you use? I don't know. And they don't even listen to the answer. They just ask. Then they ask for contacts and if you can help them get some clients. And I'm thinking like, why should I? What is going on, dude? I don't even know you. I don't know your name. You're just bombarding me with stuff. This is not an interview. It's not my sole purpose to help you make money. That's not my job. So in a nutshell, bloodsuckers are people who waste your time and make you regret going to a certain event, for example. Okay, so the next thing is gatekeeping. If you see an artist who is on the verge of breaking, then suddenly you're interesting. But before that, you're nothing to anybody, basically. I feel like the first time I came to Vienna, I was actually trying to talk to people and get to know people and introduce myself, because again, I was new to Vienna. Of course, there were some awesome people who I talked to and we had a great time and we had some drinks and we had a lot of fun, and they are now great friends of mine. But then also there were some other people who didn't care, which is fine. They don't have to care about me. They don't have to love me. Nobody has to love me. But then somebody else told them what I already did, what my credits were, and then they were like so friendly. And it has like a really bad aftertaste. You say in German, again, I'm here with the German saying. If you don't want to talk to me when I'm as friendly as I am otherwise, then why should I talk to you just because you now think I'm worth more to you than before. That made me really sad when I realized this. Also, regarding gatekeeping, the problem still is I feel like a lot of opportunities you might have are tied to who you know. So you have to know the right people to get the right opportunities and to be able to make money in this industry. I know music is a people's business, but sometimes it feels like you hit a ceiling and you need to get to know other people to move on with your career. And I just don't like that other people are able to control your success, even though the music industry as a creative industry should be for all. And of course, again, even though it's a people's business and everybody should be able to be creative and to move up the ladder, I guess, if you don't provide enough value to someone, they might not help you, even though it wouldn't be like that big of a deal for them to help you, which I guess at the same time is fine. At the same time, I'm not a huge fan of it. If I can help you and you are nice to me, why shouldn't I help you? It's still something I don't get. This was a lot of stuff I told you that I hate and I'm frustrated about, and maybe, just maybe, it's just that today was a little bit much of stuff to do. In the next video, I'm gonna talk about why I love the music industry, because it's not all bad. I made it seem really bad. It's okay. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If you like, subscribe. If you want to work with me on your songs, you can contact me through my website, mixing wise or production wise. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care and thanks for watching.